Welcome to Tea with Mo, lectures on non-duality. Welcome everyone here. I just love the energy, feeling the people's energy that's here. Special night tonight, not that any other night is more special than others, probably more the observation, it's a special night tonight. And it has a particular reason because I wanted to share with you, as much as I can recall in this amount of time, a recent mushroom journey that I had. And that was just on 2 weeks ago, I think it was, so maybe 16 days, 15 days. Hence my facial growth is 15 days old. So I've come out of it, gone, I really don't know who I am, I need to remake myself, and this was part of the remaking. Don't know how long this will stay for, I don't actually know what it looks like because I'm not looking at myself on a regular basis, so please tell me what it looks like. So Mo has got a Mo now, so it's a double Mo. The journey, it's only my third journey. Really, I think third large journey. The first two were, and I'd never been introduced. First time I was introduced to psychedelics is my first journey. So it was just everything that it was. So in that one, I found that there's everything is a fractal nature. There's only one fractal that's ever fractalized. There's only one blueprint, and it's free will. So the fractal of free will is what actually is what you are, that sort of thing. So I found that in that one. The second one, it pumped me out and pushed me out into the ethers around the earth, and I was hanging out with some aliens and working out that I was multiple fractals of self in multiple timelines upon this earth, gathering information for this particular point in time because it's really, really significant. So they were pretty groovy experiences that I was having, as well as learning about myself and what was here. They were pretty much average doses. You know, we'd probably look at, I think it was 5 grams with the first one, and then the second one was maybe equivalent to maybe 10. But it was two different types of strains, so it didn't really take me, it took me to where I needed to go. This one was a huge dose. I don't know if they call it a hero dose, not that I was trying to be a hero. I was wanting to get beyond the ego out into somewhere to see beyond this mind-body state. So it turned out that the dosage equivalent was equivalent to 24 grams. So in context to 3 to 5 grams is normally what we'd use in a journey. And good old Mo's gone 23, 24. It grabbed hold of me quite quickly. Within 5 minutes, I knew it was there. Oh, it was lovely colours. The first 5 minutes was just wonderful, and then it was just like, hold on. It was the most harrowing experience that I've ever had, because what it did was, and it was beautiful, and I love the mycelium because it's so intelligent. It shows you where you're going, and at the beginning, and then it takes you there. So it gives you the reward straight away, and then it goes, now we're going to take you through the ring. You know, we're going to ring you out, but that's where you're going to go. So it makes your pain purposeful, which I think is really beautiful. So initially it then starts to move into me, and I've got these colours and everything like that, and then I knew it was taking hold, and it just took me into this whirlpool of detaching from everything that I thought that I was. Now where it was taking me, and what it was showing me, was that I was returning back to the Godhead. I was returning home. And I was the God particle, and I was also God in that moment, observing and recognising itself as God, and itself as the particle, recognising itself as God. So it was just this beautiful, fuck, that's just, where do you go from there? So I knew that's where it was going to take me, and that's what it was. And at that particular time, I thought that I was returning to God. I thought, this is my whole life. I'm done. I'm dead. I'm finished. I'm not coming out of this journey. I am one with God now. So I had that sense that I wasn't returning. So there's red flag 1, you're going to die. okay? In the journey, you're going to die. Like, didn't see it, but found it later. And so I'm moving towards this, and then it shows me that everything is a simulation, and that I am the only person in my simulation that is real. I'm the only one person in this whole universe that is real. And that was a really lonely place, because everything else is an illusion other than this. And as I've started to recognise the meaning of this, and there's so many meanings, it's what it was saying to me, and I've just got these points down. It's a point of singularity. So it was taking me to the point of oneness. So that's where we were going, so I could see that. And through that oneness, you needed to come to the recognition that you're the only one in your universe. So where there's a point of singularity, there can only ever be one experience. And so I then started to realise that the one experience that we all have is called the subjective experience. There's only ever one experience that's going on in the whole of creation, and that is the subjective experience. And that subjective experience, all of that information gets fed up into the one, because it's having its one subjective experience through all of us having this one subjective experience. So you may then come to the realisation, and Ram Dass talks about this, and Alan Watts talk about it, when you go deep into this, you then start to realise how alone you are. Because you are the only person in your universe. You are the only person that you can ever know. You cannot know another by their experience. You can only ever know them by yours. So wherever you go, you cannot get away from yourself. And wherever you go, there is only one thing other than you. And then you then start to see that there's another you and another you. And then I started to flip it back to go, no, there's no other you. It's another I. It's not another self. It's another I. So then this fractalizing nature of creation, that which you are the God particle, is having an interaction with itself through its own subjective lens, and all of that information is getting fed up into one larger subjective container that is the Creator. So that was the first point of, holy shit, I'm alone. And now I'm returning back to God, which was beautiful. Because then what it started to show me were these bubbles of what I thought I was doing. I thought, oh, geez, aren't I clever? I just found this, and I just found this, and oh, I've put this together with that, and my critical thinking and my imagination and my intuition has then come up with this. And what it showed me was all of these things. You go, that wasn't real, that wasn't real. Everything here is leading you to this point right here and right now. And in each and every moment, you can realise, come to the realisation that you are God. In each and every moment. So every moment in your life has led you to this point, right here, right now, and in this moment you could come to the realisation that you are God. So life is always leading you towards itself. Even in your perceived separation, it's always leading you towards you recognising yourself as in the Creator, as in God. So no matter where you go, no matter what you do, no matter what path you choose, no matter what incarnation you choose to take, no matter what species it is, no matter what dimension or universe, everything is leading you back to itself. Because there's nothing other than itself, so you can't go anywhere other than home. You can't go anywhere other than your return. Even in your outward journey, you are returning. So since I've come back, I've then started to realise how I'm not actually doing anything, how life is actually living me. You know, like I'll come in and there'll be something happening, and I'll think that, you know, I've been the clever one to see it, but when, oh no, it's always been there. So I'm becoming more and more aware of this concept of life living you. Anyway, I'll bring you back to that, because we've got singularity, this point of oneness. There's only one thing. the subjective experience, which is just within itself, if you could come to the recognition that there is only ever one experience. We could call it, maybe if I redefine that, there's only ever one point of experience, and that is the point of subjectivity. There could be multiple experiences, but they're all coming from that point of subjectivity. Yeah? Right. So as it's taking me back to source, it's systematically going through everything in my life that I believed that I was. So it was going to all of my identities, what I was identifying with. So I know. It was, you know, and so I'm noticing that I'm saying, no, 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 no. So I'm noticing that the mind is going, no. The ego's going, no, but that was real. That had to be real. That couldn't have been not real. That had to be real. That person, because, and the way that it showed me was, it was a simulation. Now, I don't know if that is the truth, or because I've spoken about simulation theory, it's using what this mechanism's way of understanding life, it's using that as the framework to show me what life is. So I don't know if it's actually, if it's an absolute truth or it's a relative truth, because that's just the way that it was using my system to communicate to me. So I could understand that you are alone in the universe. So it presented it to me in a simulation. So what it suggested in the simulation, that everybody that I see isn't real, that they're only they're a projection of my own internal musings. And so everyone then represents something to me. So it's sort of like the internal family systems being expressed into our external systemic constellations. And this is, you know, the work that we're doing here. So what that meant then was that, you know, all of the significant relationships that I'd had, they were only, in a sense, figments of my imagination, which then activated a series of thoughts and emotions within me, and then I then reacted or acted with them. And then I did this throughout my whole life. And it's really interesting, because when you start to consider it from that perspective, you're only ever looking out at your life. Like, you wake up in the morning, wherever you go, wherever you turn your eyes, that's your field of vision, and also where your neuroception's picking up. So when you could start to consider that, hang on, everything that I'm seeing in my world is actually just what I'm seeing. Like, no one else is seeing it from this perspective, like, you know, is seeing it from this perspective. And even though you're only a couple of, you know, centimeters apart here, it's still a different perspective. And then we've got the history, we've got the lineage, you know, we've got where this unit of consciousness has come from, where this one has come from, the ages. So now they're not even similar. You're sitting next to each other, but your worlds apart. But you're in your own subjective world. I've got no idea what's happening for any of you. So I could be a part of your simulation. So I tried to marry these two together after this, because then I'm just thinking, am I the only fucker on this planet? And is there a planet? I don't know. And see, the thing is, even if I consider this, I don't know what's beyond these walls, because I can't see it at the moment. There could be nothing in this construct. And the construct could start being made wherever I place my attention and step and I walk. You know? So recently I've been sitting down by the river, and I'll be sitting there and everything will be calm, and then it'll be cue birds left, and then the birds come through. Cue ant right. And this, so it's sort of like this interplay. So it's a really interesting space to come back from when this is presented to you within your psyche. Yeah? So it's stripping away all of this stuff, and where it's getting me to, and I knew where it was taking me, and because my sitter, the person, my guardian that sat with me and just held me through this, because I was on the floor. I was like, I need to get out of here. I need to get, I couldn't get away from myself. Of course I couldn't get away from myself. I was going deeper and deeper and deeper, and it was taking me into the quantum. It was sucking me into the quantum. And as it's sucking me into that, it's going, you need to let go of all of this stuff. And it's systematically taking me through. The mind couldn't keep up. The mind was about 5 or 7, not true, not true, not true, behind. And it's going, no, no, no. And it was harrowing, absolutely harrowing. And yet, the beautiful thing when this vehicle goes into a journey, all it does is hysterically laugh for 4 or 5 hours. Okay, so it's this manic laughter with, honestly, if you saw this on a video, you would, that guy would have been psychotic. He was in psychosis in a sense. Anyway, psychosis, osis, state of psyche, psychosis. So it was a state of the psyche. As it's stripping everything away, I'm now getting to the realisation that the reality then is the next thing to strip away, because I'm attaching to this reality as being real. So then things start to dissolve. Yeah. I then start to recognise that the guy who's sitting with me is going to be the last person that I see on this planet, and he starts to dissolve. So through my processes, my mind and my ego, I'm trying to go, okay, that's not real, he's gone. Even the guy who was sitting with me was a part of my simulation that I thought. So of course he's going to go. And then there's the body. And so what it's then saying to me is that you need to die. You need to let go of this body. You need to relinquish it. And I didn't want to. I could go with all of the other bits, but I wasn't ready to die. I didn't go there to die. I didn't go to journey to die. But it just kept on going, gotta die, gotta die, gotta die. So then I get to the point where, okay, let's do it. So I consciously was aware of taking my last breath in, and then I was consciously aware of taking my last breath out. And that last breath out was then the moment that I was going to then die. And so then I did it. And I'm holding my breath, in a sense. I'm not holding it, the air's gone. So I'm just in this stasis, and it's still going, let go, you got to let go. Let go of the body, let go of the body. And so then I let go of the body, and then what happens? Being a nurse, I have worked in oncology, and I've been with people who have passed, who've transitioned. And one of the things that happens when you transition is that all of the body functions relax, because there's nothing for them to continue to work for. So everything just releases. So bowels open, and people urinate and piss themselves. Yeah. So what happens to me? I'm dying, didn't shit myself, but released. And so then there was just, now lucky I wasn't on the guy's couch. I did start there, but I ended up on the tile floor. So here I am in this reality, we could call it, a guy who's being psychotic and manic, who's just pissed himself on the floor. In another realm was somebody who went systematically through the art of detachment of what he could identify with through the whole thing, and then let go of the body. And here was now something in that space. And so as going through the death, so I needed to die to death. I needed to die to death. And in going through that death, everything had been let go. And then there was just this space. And the space that it then took me to was what some people have coined the void, point contact. All I can say is it felt like it was nothing. I as the awareness of the I still as a unit of consciousness was in this space where it was then experiencing what the larger container of consciousness experiences in that space. And that space is a space where there is nothing there is nothing. There's nothing to tether to. There's nothing to see. There's nothing to do. There's no state to even grasp onto with what we would call a mind or a thought. You don't even have a mind or a thought. So it's nothing. And that space is so alone because it is the only one point of singularity. There is nothing. There's nothing. Literally nothing in that space. And in its aloneness, it is all oneness. So the interesting thing was that from this space of aloneness, it wanted to, and what I felt into is that initially it became aware of itself, and then it became aware of its own point of singularity, and that point of singularity then created the first intention for it to know itself. And for it to know itself, it needed to create a point of relativity. It needed to move from oneness into a duality. Now here's another. Because if I have another, I now have a point to relate with, and also with the other, it's having its own subjective experience. So now, because I don't know what this looks like, I need somebody else to, in a sense, have a perspective of what this looks like. Because I can't see it. A fish does not know that it's in water. We don't recognize that we're walking around in air. Like, it couldn't see itself because there was nothing for it to see and nothing that could see it, you know. And we were having this beautiful conversation the other day around, the observer effect. When you observe something, you know, light can either become a particle or a wave. It's the observation of it that makes it change. And then the question that came from it is that for something to change, one needs an observer, and there needs to be something that's observed. So see, even that creates an experience. Now we've got two subjective experiences. So this loneliness was the catalyst then for creation. So this point of the void, its loneliness, the deepest, the darkness, the sadness of, fuck, all I am is this, but yet I'm everything. I want to relate, I want to connect. And here was this where this connection was being born. Oh, wow. And what do I connect through? Oh, it's the heart. So what came from that was this experience, and then that's where creation then came from. So it's then gone, right, there you go, we've done everything we've said that we're going to do, tick, 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 you know, systematically detached you from everything. Now we're going to spit you back out. So then I've come out of this void, whatever it was, back into this reality and gone, I don't know, I think I was, and it's interesting because we were talking the other night and you had a good 5.5 minute breath hold. I think I was probably around 6 and a bit. So, you know, maybe in that 5.5 you can go to the void and then come back, right? But I came back, and what I started to see was the room that I came back in hadn't been put together yet. They were a little bit slow off the offtake in the quantum. So I was being pushed out of the quantum quicker than the quantum could actually put together what the room looked like. So I'm sitting there, and then the walls start to appear. There's the fridge, there's the table, there's the chairs. Oh, here's the floor. But up until that point, I was just sitting in, you know, like in the Matrix where it's just all white, in a sense. Yeah. So quantum's just gone, holy shit, they've let him go too quick. Now we need to put everything around. And then as I've slowed down and the quantum continues, then we're back into this situation where our realities are being made for us 334,000 times per second, at least. Okay, but because it's so quick, we're not seeing it. The other thing, when I've come out, I've said to my mate, hey, did I just piss myself? And he go, yeah, you did, mate, you're soaked. In the reality that I was dry as a bone. I'm going, you sure? He goes, yeah, man, you were just lying in it, like you're dripping. And I'm going, oh man, I can't see it, I can't feel it. So once again, there was this shifting in realities. Beautiful. Some of the things that I've found from this, because I thought, holy crap, I've just, what is that? Are you, Maurice, are you enlightened now? Is that, it's an enlightened experience. I talk about this stuff and I have this really great understanding of it and truly, in a sense, believe it. But have I had the lived experience where I can go, hey, this is, and once again, it can only ever be my truth because it's a subjective experience. So is there any value in sharing my own subjective experience to others who have their own subjective experience? Because this could just be a crock of shit. Guy's gone tripped on mushrooms and thought he's been God. And by the way, died and pissed himself at the same time. You know, what a fucking great day that was, you know. Or is there something in this? When I've spoken to other people who've had similar experiences, going, oh, this isn't just a unique psychedelic drug experience. People are getting this from other experiences, going to the same place, having their interpretation, their experience of the void, and yet there's some similarities to it. So there's, these subjective experiences, there's a commonality, there's a thread that moves through it. So I've considered that this is something significant, it's something that has meaning, there's a bit of purpose, and maybe I can share it with people and it could do something for them. Other than, man, that was a really great story. Maybe there's some stuff that we can take away from it. So in coming back, having now these new eyes and this new experience and then seeing life in a different way, so some of the things that are happening, one is that because I see that I am everything and that everything is consciousness and each point of consciousness has its own subjective experience and the only one experience that is happening is subjectivity, that means that I am everything and I have access to everything. So now that I'm seeing everything, I see them as points of consciousness, whether it's plastic, whether it's the iPhone, whether it's the mat, the floor, the pen, the paper, the water. These all having their own subjective experience of me and everything else that's in here. And there's a sense of, I see you. And when you see everything, there's a conscious relationship that then occurs. So you can easily see it in the water, you can see it in the wind and the trees and in nature, and you go, oh, that's beautiful. And I then start to see it in the bitumen crossover, crossing as we call it. And then I came into the building and I started to see the bricks. Oh, the bricks have been watching me every time that I come in here. And I said hello, and they said hello to me, not hello, Maurice. It'd be cool if they did. But more so in the heart. Oh, hello, Maurice. And I'm walking up the stairs, and it was for the first time, this only happened a couple of days ago, the first time that I saw the stairs in the way that I saw the stairs. They were another me, they were another I, there was a point of consciousness. And then I saw the railings that we walk up, and then I thought, oh, these railings, they're consciousness, they've got a perspective of me. So then I met them, and rather than just grabbing them to support me up, I was caressing them. Going, fuck, I see you. Fuck, you're beautiful. And so here's this interplay that's happening. Yeah. Now, call me fucking out there, but I'll tell you what, that out there, it's a beautiful vibration. So bring it back to frequency. Yeah. Life can only give to you that which you already are. So what is your frequency? And if you are caressing a balustrade while walking up a set of stairs saying, fuck, I love you, then go and do it at least once a day.
Also in how it's receiving you.
And how it's perceiving you. Because it's receiving you in its own way. Not that we know what that is. It's a subjective experience which then adds to the whole. So there's a greater connection with things. What I've also noticed is a thing that I call tethering. So within the systematic stripping of that's not real, and this beautiful flow of detaching from reality and everything that you identify with, which is harrowing at the same time, in coming back into this world, I then start to recognize how beautiful everything is that I want to tether to, because, you know, this is amazing, because in your all oneness there is nothing. There is nothing to tether to. So while you're here, just tether to it. And it's a tethering to, not because I need to feel safe. It's a tethering to because I want to, because I see you. It's not a grasping on or a holding on. I need to dig in, because that's how I was going into it. I needed to hold on to something. Now coming back into it, I just want to hold on to something. So see, it's the frequency of the intention. So I'm noticing that that's probably the largest thing coming back from that. Clarity of mind, clarity of tapping into and, you know, accessing information seems to have maybe opened up the crown a lot more. I think after the first couple of days the crown was open, and this love and light was just flowing through here and then just pouring out. You know when you have those pool fountains and they're like a I don't know what that would be called. It's like a fan type of thing. That's how it sort of feels, and it's just been continually open. In trying to attribute meaning to, you know, this experience, because, you know, that's a significant experience, and I don't know how many people have that experience. I'm thinking more and more, and the reason why I'm thinking more and more is because we're at a particular area within the universe that there is a photon band, and a photon band is a band of light, and light is frequency, and light carries information. So this is information of high frequency that we have available to. So we have access to having these Godhead experiences maybe more and more through various tools, various meditations, various breath works, all of these things, modalities that we're becoming more and more aware of now. And I believe that there is a purpose in that, because it's about bringing the light into this density of experience. And so we then become the lighthouses. We are able to then, you know, the higher the frequency that you can oscillate at, you will naturally bring up lower frequency. That's just the law of resonance. So the more light that you can become aware of within you, then the more light you then share with others, and the more opportunity there is to shift away from particular timelines that are being, in a sense, played out on this planet. We're all here at this time for a particular reason. We've all chosen to come here in this catalytic time of pressure and oppression and tyranny and separation. And coming in here to become aware. So once again, remember, everything in your life is leading you to the moment called the now, where you can then start to realize that you're God. And the more and more that we then tap into that, the more that is then available for others to have the experience of. So in the speaking of this, we bring it from the unseen into the seen. The hearing of it then allows activations for you and your experience. This is where it's important to share. Remember, it's not how many people hear the words, it's that the words are said. And the beautiful thing with these recordings is that this is, in a sense, marking time in history, and also it's a diarization of this vehicle, this centre's evolution as well. Would I recommend this type of journey for people? Only for the brave-hearted. I would say that you would have to had some understanding of being able to hold your ego as it systematically gets destroyed. If you can't do that, then it might, I don't know, I don't think that you'd get to that point anyway. That I think it's too intelligent where there'll still always be something for you. And yet, it was really harrowing and yet the most profound experience that I've had. Cool. That's what I wanted to share tonight. There's still more to come from that. Each one of these points which I've been able to identify then creates its own rabbit hole of here's more information around that. So I've been stepping into those and opening up these libraries, these almanacs of information that I can then bring and then place upon this. Once again, we speak it and it's available for the collective. The collective can pick it up, do with it what you will. And then as long as we're trying to, in a sense, we're just inviting this, seeing through the illusion of separateness. That's what this is all about. Cool. All right. Thank you all for being here, listening to that. Any questions, comments, musings?